Good morning. Let's start by saying our opening prayer. The energy of love is within us and is us. Whole and complete is the I am that we are. We awaken to the truth of our being. We will this be done within and without. May we come to recognize that we receive all that we give. May we know that we have forgiven others when we forgive ourselves of all grievances held within our minds. May we not be led into temptation by the voice of separation, but instead may we transcend all illusions. For ours is the power, love, and peace of Christ consciousness found within each of us, who is but the perfect extension of the one mind and heart that is shared by all, and is our birthright as the holy extensions of love itself. Our affirmation of faith. We believe in one God, the author and energy of all life, whose love sustains the universe and all things found within it. Our 5 Christ principles. 1. There is only one energy in the universe. That energy is love, at all times active in everyone, everywhere. 2. We are the divine energy of love, and that energy is found throughout the universe and in all things, whether seen or unseen. 3. We create our experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe, thereby establishing our responsibility for our own choices. 4. Through opening our heart center, we connect with the energy of love and bring out the Christ within us. 5. We express our desire to be of service when we live and demonstrate Christ consciousness in all our affairs.
Thank you, Miss Penny. And thank you, Kevin, for the beautiful music. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Church of Christ Consciousness. I'd like to welcome everyone who is here, everyone who is watching live, and for those who will watch later during the week. Welcome. We are here for those who are ready to live the truth of their being. Today, I have chosen a topic that this time last week is not the same thing as what I thought it would be. And this topic came to me from something that I had said during the Wednesday night class and got a lot of feedback on. And I thought, wow, with that much feedback, it's time to discuss it. The title of today's topic is the distance between where you think you are and the kingdom is forgiveness. That distance is forgiveness. Now I want everyone to think about where you think you are and where you think the kingdom is. If you do not know that you are in the kingdom, then you believe that there's a distance between where you are and where the gates of the kingdom lie, so to speak. That distance is forgiveness. But first of all, Jesus the Christ taught us the kingdom of heaven is within us. If the kingdom of heaven is within us, then there can be no true distance between where we are and heaven is, because it is always with us. The heart knows heaven is with us. The mind plays tricks on us, plays games with us. So today, I want you to recognize there is no distance. In reality, there is no distance. But because we believe there is, Jesus taught us that forgiveness is what closes that gap. Now, I'm going to talk about forgiveness for a moment. It's one of those words that people throw around a lot, but they don't like to talk about. They don't like to hear it. Jesus instructed us really only on three things. To love God with all of our heart, mind, and soul. To love one another as we love ourselves. And to forgive. And when he was asked how to pray, he gave us what is now known as the Lord's Prayer, in which he said, "Forgive us, Father, as we forgive those who trespassed against us." We have been forgiven. We ask and we received. But why do we still have a distance between where we think we are and the kingdom of heaven? Something has to be there that creates what we consider to be the distance. And those are the obstacles, the resentments, the grievances, the hurt, the anger and judgment that we hold within our minds. That is what has to be forgiven. We have been forgiven because we asked, and as Jesus said, "Ask and ye shall receive." We received. That's nice. But why don't we know it? Because you cannot know what you have until you give it away. Hint, forgive us as we forgive. We must give forgiveness. And recall that the law of being directly reflects forgiveness. The law of being states, to give is to have is to be is to know is to experience, and to experience is to become aware. So how do we become aware that we are forgiven? We must go back to the beginning of the law. We must give forgiveness, just as Jesus asked us to. We must give forgiveness always. Forgive. Give forgiveness. And under the law, we will then know that we have it. And when we know we have forgiveness, we will know that we are the be part of the law. We will know that we are forgiven. And when we are forgiven, we will know it. And by knowing it, we will experience the forgiveness. And we will see the forgiveness ourselves and in others. And we will become aware that we are forgiven. When we truly know that we are forgiven, that nothing stands between us and the kingdom. Nothing stands between us and heaven. Now we can live as the light that we are. On the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, we are the light of the world. But then he said, why do you hide the light under a bush? Why do you hide the light? We hide the light because of the obstacles, the grievances, resentments, judgments. That's what hides the light, that we are in truth. And if we've hidden the light from others, we've hidden the light from ourselves. And we will not know what we are. We will not know that we are the light of the world. How can we bring the light to the world if we're hiding it? We are the ones who are to bring the light to the world, so that those who still live in darkness can see the light and know that they are a part of the same thing that we are. We'll never get there without forgiveness. And Jesus told us. Now, I'd like to share one last thing. You could read it for yourself in the Gospels. Jesus was never asked by anyone to forgive, to be forgiven. He had never had to be asked because he gave it. You are forgiven. He just would simply say, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. So do not wait for someone to ask you to be forgiven. Forgive them so that you can know of your own forgiveness. I'd like to end with a story. This past week I was with someone. There were several of us. We were sitting at a table, and this woman spoke to me. And I asked her a question. If this person that you're holding a grievance with was right here, what would you ask that person? She thought about it for a moment and she said, I would ask if they were sorry for what they did to me. I said, So your forgiveness rests on being told that you're sorry. That's conditional. You've placed a condition on the opportunity to forgive. And boy, when I said that, you would have thought I had backhanded her, so to speak. She was in shock. Everyone sitting at the table I think, was in shock as well. And I said, you have just placed a condition on forgiveness. Never forget that forgiveness is the greatest act of love. Now you have placed a condition on love. God is unconditional love. But now you have placed a condition that this person must tell you that they're sorry before you will forgive them. I said, show me in the Bible, show me in the Lord's Prayer where it says that we're to forgive only after the other person has made some kind of recompense or said they're sorry to us first. I said, that's not forgiveness. That's still holding on to the resentment and grievance, which only hurts you. It only hurts us when we do that. I hear so many people, and have recently, they want to feel free. They want to be happy and joyous and feel free. How can you feel happy and joyous when happy, joy, and freedom all go hand in hand? How can you feel happy and joyous if you don't feel free? You can't. And how do we free ourselves from the obstacles, to the bondage of the little self, to the bondage created by the judgments, the grievances, the resentments, and everything else that we hold within us? We do it through forgiveness. We forgive. And then we let it go. And by the way, in true forgiveness, the Spirit will have changed the way you perceive the past. When you truly have let it go and truly have forgiven, you will no longer perceive what happened as hurtful. You will perceive it neutrally. And you will know that it was a wonderful act that helped get you to the place that you are today. And one that brought you closer to heaven through forgiveness. So with each act of forgiveness, remember to be grateful. For forgiveness and gratitude go hand in hand. And I will end with this. Thank Jesus the Christ for showing us and demonstrating what forgiveness is and how to forgive, and to forgive freely, not to hold on to anything, to let it go, so that you can remember and know in this moment the only distance between where you think you are and where heaven is, which is within us, is forgiveness. So take this week, take the rest of today, take the rest of your life and forgive, forgive, forgive. Forgive everyone and everything so that you will know of your forgiveness. Thank you, guys.
And as we begin to ponder the lesson today, let's remember that forgiveness of others begins with forgiveness of yourself. Let's take a moment to reflect on the steps that we can take to live with a forgiving heart. As you get comfortable, breathe in, I am, and breathe out, forgiven. Breathe in, I am, and breathe out, free. And breathe in, I am, and breathe out, the love of God. Think of a situation this week that still has you upset when you think about it, or maybe one from your past. Examine the negative emotions that you feel when you think of this, and ask yourself, why does this trigger me? And then ask, what have I learned from this situation? Acknowledge it, Forgive yourself and move forward. Acknowledge your part in the situation by speaking it out loud. Giving voice to your thoughts and emotions tells your mind that you have learned from your actions and its consequences. If you are having a hard time letting go, give yourself permission to work on it some other time. And then ask yourself, what advice would I give another individual who is confessing the same problem to me? Would I be as harsh on them as I am on myself? Let's take just a moment to reflect. And as we continue with our day, remember, forgive yourself. Do not continue to bring up the guilt and shame that you have worked through. And show yourself the same kindness and compassion you would have for another. Don't think less of yourself than you would another who had confided the same experience in you. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We give and receive in love. And check us out at churchofchristconsciousness.org.